Well, this is a follow-up video for my pike fishing using a floating deadbait rig, and this is the deadbait rig using the float that I used, and I'm going to show you how I put it together. So the first thing you do is, when you put your rod and reel together, you open the bail arm and you feed the line through the rod rings, okay? So you're going to imagine there's a rod at the end of this, and the rod rings, this has gone through, the line has gone through the rod rings, okay? So the first thing we're going to put on is a rubber stop or float stopper. And how you do that, very simply, is you put the line through the little circle here of line on the float stops. So you put the line through like that, and you just pinch one of the little float stops and you pull it off like that, sliding it onto the line, and it slides onto the line just like that, and there it is, ready to rock, just like that. And you can slide this up and down the line, and it's very, very handy to use. Now, here we're using a Densmore float. This particular one is 20 grams. Now, some floats, the top part can be very wide, and if that's the case, you have to use a bead in conjunction with the little rubber float stop, because the float stop would go through the float. But in these floats, the hole is pretty small, so it's perfect. So you just feed the line through the top all the way down to the bottom. Just feed it like that. Okay, comes out the bottom eventually. Just feed it through. There we go. All right, so now that's stopped on top of the float stop. Now this float stop can be moved up and down the line. If you wanted to fish 10 feet of water, you would just measure this float stop 10 feet away from the deadbait trace or deadbait rig, and that's it. It's very simple. And what happens is the weight of the dead fish and the little lead weights that we're going to put on pulls through the float and stops at the float stop. Very handy, isn't it? So remember, that's a 20-gram float. All right. So now we're going to put on two of these little lead balls. They're approximately 5 grams each. So we're going to put on 2 of those. Now I've tried this before, and so I know that that's the amount I need. And we use a small roach, which is around, I would say, 3 inches long, and that'll be perfect. So we have this, you have 2 lead weights, you have your float stop, that's sorted. So the last thing you're going to put on then is your deadbait rig. Now this one is the Fox range, it's the Predator. It's a 49 strand twin treble trace. These are very, very good. I know that because I've used it. So this is the one I used on the video actually, but I just put it back in the case so I can open it again and put it on to show you. All right, so just like that. Now, and it also shows, it's got instructions on the back of this on how to put, if you're using a piece of mackerel or if you're using a roach, same idea. All right, so we take out this, we unravel it like so. All right, and there we go, and then we tie it on to our line. And on the video that I have done, you will see how I put the fish onto this. So now we're going to feed the line through the swivel. We wrap the swivel around about 5 or 6 times like so. This is the haft tuck blood knot, I think they call it. And you're like, there's a video there on how to do this as well, if you look at it, how to tie on traces and stuff. They're all the same. So you run your, put the line through there. You pull it very gently. You wet it, of course. You always moisten it because friction burns the line. Okay, so you just pull it tight, job done. You trim this bit. All right, and there is your trace or your deadbait rig attached to your line. All right, going up along. You have your 2 lead balls down there. There they are there. Oopsie daisies. And they'll stop at the trace, of course. And you've got your little float stop that we can pull down here like that. I pull it all the way down if I want. Now, of course, I'm after hooking the carpet. Okay, so there we go. So there's your float stop. You see it there? There's a float stop. There's your float, 2 lead weights, and your trace. Oops, it is. I'm hitting everything here. And there's your deadbait rig. There's a scale on that one where I had the little roach on there today. And that's how you put this thing together. It's very simple. Now, the float stop, as I said, you can actually put it farther up the line depending how deep you want to fish the dead fish. If you know your depths, it's very, very handy for that. As I said, this is a Densmore float. It's a 20-gram float. And I'm also using the Fox deadbait rig. So that's how it's put together. All right, 1 second now. The ground is very rocky here. Very unsteady, sorry. So you get your dead fish, pop one of these in through the head like that, because it's like that, and the second one then will secure it by the tail, which is here. Pop it in there like so, and that's basically it. So there's your dead fish. And I have the floating system, which I've just shown you how to put together. As I said, I got these baits off of Mike at Shannonside Baits in Clonlara, and they're working fine. He does a lot of bait for the sea fishing as well. All right, tight lines. Thanks for watching.